What we're going to do is we're going to look at the unit circle. Two things that we know about the unit circle. One is that the radius is always equal to 1. So whatever triangle that we draw in the unit circle, we're always going to have a radius that is equal to 1. The other thing is that each triangle that we work with is either going to be a 30, 60, 90 or a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Now, if we remember a 30, 60, 90 triangle, the 30-degree side we call S, the 90-degree side is 2S, and the 60-degree side is S rad 3. With the 45, 45, 90, what we have is the 45 side being S and the 90-degree side being S rad 2. Why that's important is because the 2S is equal to 1 and the S rad 2 is equal to 1. So we're able to find our S values. By dividing by 2, we get S is equal to 1/2. S rad 3 is equal to rad 3 over 2. So that means that for every unit circle triangle that's a 30, 60, 90, we're going to have 1/2 rad 3 over 2 and 1 as our three sides. Now with the 45, 45, 90, in order to get the S by itself, we divide by rad 2. When we rationalize, we get rad 2 over 2. So that means that with a 45, 45, 90 triangle, the two sides that we work with are rad 2 over 2 and 1. So let's look at our problems. We're going to evaluate without a calculator. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw our coordinate system. We're going to find 30 degrees. We're going to make a triangle. That's a 30-degree triangle. So we have 30 degrees. Now, we know that the hypotenuse is always 1. The 30-degree side is always half of that, so we have a half. And then our 60-degree side is rad 3 over 2. So those are our sides. Now, it tells us we're finding the sine. If we remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. The opposite side is a half. The hypotenuse is 1. A half divided by 1 is just a half. Now with letter B, it's a little bit more difficult because it's in radians. So we're first going to convert it into degrees by multiplying it by 180 over pi. The pi's cancel. 4 goes into 180 45 times. So that means that when we draw our coordinate system and we draw our triangle, what we have is 45, 45, 90 triangle. Now our hypotenuse, once again, is always 1. So if that's 1, then that means our 45-degree sides are rad 2 over 2 and rad 2 over 2. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Our adjacent side is rad 2 over 2. Our hypotenuse is 1. Rad 2 over 2 divided by 1 is rad 2 over 2. Our last one, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to convert it into degrees. So we have 180 over pi. The pi's cancel. 3 goes into 180 60 times. So what we're trying to do is we're drawing a 60-degree triangle. Now that means that this angle is 30. We have our 1. Our 30-degree side is always half of our hypotenuse, so that would be a half. Our 60-degree side, we multiply it by rad 3, so we get rad 3 over 2. Now this one's a little bit more difficult because with tangent, what we have is we have our opposite side over our adjacent side. So we have rad 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. Now remember, whenever you divide, what you do is you multiply by the reciprocal. So I take the 1/2 and I find the reciprocal, which is 2 over 1. So the 2's cancel, and what we end up with is rad 3.